Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
That, my mother's love was always inexplicably linked to kickball.
Hello, this is Matman from TikTok, the head of the Church of Star Wars, and you're listening to the Funny Science Fiction podcast. Please rise.
The podcast where there's a fine line between insanity and genius, but in our case, it's drawn with a nicely beautiful red crayon. Our guest today is an artist and an Instagram and TikTok creator. It's Matt. How you doing,
Hello.
Matt?
Sorry,
Now,
I said hello too quickly.
That's okay. We'll fix it in post. Now, you must likely know him as the Matman from being the head cleric of the Church of Star Wars. If you have watched him on TikTok, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched him on TikTok, I would say stop what you're doing, go to TikTok and look him up. But we're in the middle of an interview. Don't leave. Stick around. Listen to what he has to say. Then go to TikTok and give him a subscription because, frankly, his stuff is amazing. And I follow him and I laugh every time I see him come on. So glad to have you, Matt.
Welcome.
Glad to be
show.
here. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, and we're glad to have you join in on our nerdery.
Yes.
I have to admit that I totally just followed you on TikTok last night and was like probably 30 of the likes you got last night.
I think I noticed that. I noticed just like every minute I get a notification on my phone. I'm like, somebody really likes my stuff.
That would be me. It was part of my research.
Extensive research.
Honey,
research is-
I'm being stalked again.
Research is less creepy than stalking.
That's right. So for
Nice bow on it. Put a nice bow
That's
on
right.
it.
Exactly.
It's all about the presentation. It's like,
Absolutely.
taking the song Every Little Step You Make, or Every Little Step You Take by the Police and calling it a love song.
Yeah.
It's not. So anyway, I feel like I just heard a bunch of, million voices cry out in horror.
No! Sorry.
That's a New Hope reference. Anyway, so understanding, Matt, what someone loves about Star Wars and why that piece of Star Wars universe is so important to them can be helpful in understanding their feelings and thoughts in regards to the Star Wars fandom. Now, clearly, you are a Star Wars fan. And if anybody watches your videos, that's pretty obvious. That's pretty clear. Clearly also a big Batman fan. But I'm curious when it comes to regarding Star Wars, what was your entry point into the fandom and what era did you become a Star Wars fan?
Ooh. So I've been watching Star Wars since I was a little kid. I honestly couldn't tell you what I watched first. I want to say it was the original trilogy because my dad would, I remember watching both when I was a kid. I watched the prequels when they came out in theaters. I think I want to say I was in third grade or so. It was 1997, right? When the episode 1 came out. I think it was 97. Oh, no, it was 99. Sorry, they were filming in 97. So I remember watching them in theaters. But it was definitely, as soon as I was old enough to comprehend like Star Wars, I'd been watching Star Wars. But I want to say it was a toss up between the original trilogy and the prequels because I was watching them basically at the same time.
Okay. All right.
I
Excellent.
was 7 when episode 1 came out. Sorry, I'm doing the math and it's wow.
I'm trying to do the math too. I believe I was 7 too then. 92?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I was 7 too. So yeah, I'm pretty sure because that's how I have a very bad memory. So that's why I'm going back and forth. I'm like, I have no idea what I watched first. I just remember that I've always loved Star Wars.
And that was the thing is I'm like, okay, so my brothers took me. That was the year that Charlie graduated. So yeah, I was 7. That's crazy.
Yeah. In this episode of How to Make Tim Feel Old,
Just
let's
remember, Tim.
Yeah, I graduated in 1995.
You're almost the same age as my husband, though. You're okay.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've thought of that. And then we took my oldest son was I think 3 months old 6 months old rather when Phantom Menace came out, and we took him to that movie.
Oh,
So-
best dad ever.
So yeah, the only times I think he screamed or cried was when R2 screamed. So it was like appropriately timed. So
Oh my
There's that.
gosh.
Oh goodness. So also one of your videos that I know that I liked on TikTok last night is about your engagement photos.
I don't know if I talked about my engagement. I did it on a live, I think.
I
Oh yeah. Oh
thought-
no, I'm sorry. I'm getting confused with. I proposed with a book, and
Oh,
I
cool.
put that on. Yeah, I put it on a live last night, and I was getting confused. I'm sorry. Yes, my engagement photos. We did several normal ones. I'm a bit more of a nerd than my fiance is.
See, and that's what I was
quite a bit
wondering.
more.
That was what I was wondering, is being in a nerd relationship. My husband, when he was going to propose, he actually bought a TARDIS ring box to use, which then got stuck in customs between Canada and the United States and was late, which is totally accurate for the TARDIS. It's not when it never shows up on time.
Nope.
But I was wondering how your nerddoms matched, and if you have like cross fandom debates, or if she just like tolerates your nerddom.
Honestly, probably the second one. She basically just tolerates the nerddom. The way I proposed was I did like a little I did our adventure book. So she's a Disney nerd. So she is a Disney nerd. And I did a little our adventure book, and I illustrated the whole thing. And
Nice.
I did every different page was a different portion of our lives. So, and our first date was actually episode 8. So as much as that movie gets a lot of hate, it will always hold a special place in my heart.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So that was our, even though she talked the whole time and I was ready to just end it all there. But it was my first viewing of episode 8 too. It was my first viewing of episode 8. I was so excited. But eventually we made it work. We made it work. I pushed through, and here we are today. But she is definitely not as much of a nerd as I am. I am definitely the biggest nerd. She does like Star Wars, and she'll watch the nerdy stuff with me, but it is more of like along the lines of, I kind of tolerate this stuff. We will have some Star Wars stuff. I think it's mostly Batman stuff at the wedding. There's a couple little Batman things that she allowed me to have, and I do say allowed me to have.
That's totally how it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand.
And I told her though, I wanted to get custom lightsabers so that we could at least do a couple photos with her in her wedding dress and me in the suit, and then just have us have the lightsabers, like just a couple photos. Like I wanted a couple nerdy photos, and then she actually had the idea for the Han Solo and the Princess Leia outfits. That was actually her idea, which was really sweet. And it turned out great. I honestly wish I had brought our lightsabers. I forgot because it's Han and Leia. They didn't really, but I think it still would have been cute to have them.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun with that shoot. She actually does those buns all the time. That wasn't just for like the shoot. She does them all the time.
That's awesome. Those pictures are so adorable. I love them.
Thank you very much.
So Disney has been coming out with a lot of like TV show type episodical things like The Mandalorian and stuff like that. And now with some of the upcoming shows that they've announced, which one are you most excited about?
Ooh, so it's a tie. And I know that's cheating, but it is. It's true. It's Ahsoka and Obi-Wan for me. I would have probably said Obi-Wan first, but then they announced Ahsoka, and I'm like, oh no. Because Ahsoka is tied as my favorite character in Star Wars. Her and Anakin are like neck and neck. If I had to pick, I would probably actually say Ahsoka, just because I just love her arc so much. I think they got a fantastic actress to play her. I cannot wait for her to have her own show.
Yeah.
But I am also really excited about Obi-Wan because I've been pushing for Hayden Christensen to get another chance at the role.
Yes.
And the fact that they're doing that is honestly the main reason. If they did not have Hayden Christensen in the show, I would probably say Ahsoka takes the cake. But just for that fact alone, that they're bringing Hayden Christensen back, I am so pumped.
exciting.
Mhm.
I'm excited to. Go ahead, please.
Sorry. Oh no, I was just gonna say I think he just got I think he just got the short end of the stick really badly, and
He did.
I feel like people blame him when it's absolutely 100% not his fault.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do with capable writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the key word there. Capable writing.
Yeah, I love George. I love George Lucas. I do. I mean, without him, I would not have the all the nerdery in my life that I do, and I am thankful every day for his ability to have the imagination that he has, and all the wonderful things that he's created. I just want him to stay away from script writing.
It
Yep.
is hard when the best lines of movies are that you don't like sand because it's coarse and gets everywhere.
Those are the most memorable lines. But yeah, I say the same thing because it's like a lot of people give him crap too, but it's like, you know, he's the idea guy. Without him, we didn't have Star Wars. And I think that's why the original trilogy, I think, is the best example of like what can be done when everybody works together. Like that should have
Right.
been that should have been that's why it's such like a lightning in the bottle thing. Like everybody kind of did their own thing. He was the idea guy. They had the writers, they had the different
Right.
directors, and like every vision came together exactly the way it was supposed to.
Right. Oh, I agree. I think, you know, episodes 1, 2, and 3 are cautionary tales of what happens when somebody kind of gets to run amok with what they're doing and how they're doing. I think Frank Duran, he's one of our former guests we've had on. Frank also has a podcast called The Warp Shelf about all his fandoms overtaking his shelves. It's kind of a cool show. But he talked about it, and he said that George Lucas is the idea guy, and as long as we can keep the idea guy separate from the guys who put it into action, you know, like, okay, George, that's a great idea. Now go back to the house.
Yeah.
Go have a cup of coffee. Go sit over there. You know.
You don't need to do anything, George. Relax. Just you put the treatment down thing. All right, and we'll do the rest. Don't touch it.
Exactly.
Don't even look at it, George. Don't look at
it. Beautiful storyboard. Now go home.
Go away. Shoo.
So speaking of Star Wars, I love your stuff on TikTok. All the Church of Star Wars stuff. Absolutely great. In my eyes, it's a bit of Monty Python meets Princess Bride meets Star Wars. And it's quickly becoming one of my favorite bits of content on TikTok. I know that, and not to put too much pressure on you, but I know that when I see it, I'm going to laugh, and that makes my day. Because I know that something silly is about to happen, something fun and silly, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So my question for you, Matt, is where, when, and how did you decide that the Church of Star Wars needed to be the thing that we needed?
So honestly, it was in December. I think it was the episode before the finale of Mandalorian, because I'm pretty sure the next week after that I came out with like the other one of the videos about how even though it's ended, we still have all this great Star Wars stuff. So I think it was in December, and I got home that night and I just had this idea in my head. I was just like, you know, Filoni and Favreau basically saved this franchise. And then the idea just popped in my head. And believe it or not, so not a lot of people know this, it was never intended to be a Monty Python mix. In my head, I was just like, okay, I've obviously grew up watching Monty Python and stuff like that, but I guess in the back of my head, it just kind of was there because I just kind of said to myself, like, all right, I need a priest voice. And then I just did whatever silly voice came up into my head. And then everyone started commenting, hey, that's the priest from Monty Python. I'm like, oh, shoot, you're right. I guess it is. So the merger was like a complete accident, like a happy little accident. And then eventually after that, that's when I started to incorporate like actual like skits from Monty Python into like the merger. But yeah, that's technically how the voice was born. It really was just kind of like an accident, but and then it started to get, you know, a little bit more detailed. You know, I had the book, I had the idea to do that because people started asking, hey, can you do the book of this? Or can you do the book of this? And I'm like, oh, I can turn this into a series. And then it just kind of spiraled from there, and it's evolved over time into just like this big thing. But there's so much fun to do. There's so much fun to write, and it was like a happy little accident that I'm very, very grateful for.
Awesome. I think the two that I've enjoyed the most are the Book of Jar Jar and R2D2. Because when you did the R2 scream, I literally spit my coffee back into the cup because I was not expecting you to be able to hit that note. So well done and kudos to you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, those are probably some of my favorites too. The Book of Jar Jar one, So a lot of people ask, like, how do you not crack up? Like, how do you not have like 50 outtakes? And the reason is, like, you know, as you're sitting there, like, you know, I obviously sit down. I sort of sometimes write the jokes. I sometimes write them out. I'm like going through them in my head over and over again. So by the time I actually get to the filming, I've heard them all before. So
Right.
there's not like I don't actually. But during the time I was writing Jar Jar, as I was like, I would do like little mock recordings where I do like a little like joke, see how the joke would land. I was laughing so hard. I know it's like, kind of like, but you know, it's kind of weird to laugh at your own jokes, but I seriously was cracking up. That one was so much fun. And the R2D2 one was honestly, again, same thing that happened with the Church of Star Wars. It was just like, I was home one night and I was like, hey, you know, it'd be kind of funny if I just did the Book of R2D2. Because it was someone had left a comment on one of my impression videos.
Huh?
And I didn't do the R2D2 scream, but I did a bunch of them. And someone just asked like, hey, so does that mean you can do the R2D2 scream on command? And I was like, huh, you know what? I actually haven't thought about it. Can I? And I tried it and I'm like,
let's see.
oh, I gotta make a video about this. Like I just kind of tried it. And then like the next day I was like, I should just do like a Book of R2D2. I bet it'll be funny. And then it just kind of exploded.
And it was. So
It
well
was.
done.
I had the
Thank
R2D2
you.
scream as my ringtone on my phone for the longest time.
A lot of people kept asking me like, I want to download this. I want to download this. I'm like, I don't know how. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing on here. I really don't.
I'm a millennial on TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing.
I really don't. I really don't. I have no idea what I'm doing. The way I write captions, the way I do all my captions, I know there's apps and all this stuff, but I'm just like, I literally just listen to the video and I just type. I literally just listen to the video over and over again and I'm typing and like sizing them down and I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm very old school.
When did we become old school? This is not okay. They're going after my skinny jeans and my side part. Jeez.
When you start hearing the music on the oldies station.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that.
There was a TikTok I found one time where it was just like, put a finger down or put a check mark on the thing for how many songs you recognize. And this girl just put an X on every single song. And I'm just like, oh, I knew every single one. And I'm just like, yep.
Yeah.
This is the moment. No, the moment I felt old was, I was actually teaching 8th grade at the time. And we were doing like a Marilyn Monroe kind of like not Jackson Pollock, I'm sorry, like pop art style portrait. And I said to them, like, if you guys don't feel like taking your own pictures, you guys can just use like, you know, your profile picture from Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And they're like, Facebook, mister, nobody uses that anymore. And that was the moment where I was like, oh, yep,
there's the dagger in my heart. Wow.
There it is. There it is.
Oh.
My face just like immediately got wrinkled. My back started hurting. I was like, oh no, it's happened.
Do they even know what MySpace is?
No, they do. They probably don't.
I'd like to
that's a good
discuss with you
question.
my top 8.
I actually should ask. I'm going to ask my students. I have high school students now. I'm going to ask if they actually know what MySpace is. I bet I'll get some people that know what it is, but just like ironically.
Play the dial-up sound and see if they know what that is.
Oh yeah, anytime kids complain about like, oh, mister, you know, my computer's, because we're obviously, some of them are doing remote learning, and some like, oh, mister, you know, my computer's not working. I'm like, don't talk to me about your computer being slow, okay? It took a half hour for a little arcade game on Cartoon Network to load, okay?
So going back to your Church of Star Wars, some of your sermons and how anti-gatekeeping you are, which
Yes,
I love, especially being a girl in the nerd world. I got gatekeeped a lot. Like, you're a girl, you don't know what you're talking about, you can't like that. So is there an origin story behind your anti-gatekeeping stance, or is it just a general good policy in your opinion?
honestly, it's I've always been sort of, obviously, you know, being a teacher, I'm very anti-bullying. Like, you know, I'm very, very inclusive, very anti-bullying. Everybody should be given a fair shake, all that stuff. And it came, again, I feel like I get all of my best ideas from the comment section. I can't take credit for anything on here. Someone had mentioned like the church is like someone you get excommunicated for gatekeeping. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll make that the commandment, the number one commandment. And that's what I did. And I just sort of, I would always preach it just because I wanted my platform to be a place where everybody could come and just have a good, like, because these are all jokes. We're all here just to have jokes. It's like, it's a space odyssey with wizards and laser swords. We're all here just to have a good time.
It's
like,
not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be taken that seriously.
No, it's not, like, that's why I never understand why people or how people get so angry and, so gung-ho about people having different opinions. And it goes both ways too. Like I see a lot of people who, like, someone just says like, hey, I really don't like the sequel trilogy. And like people will just immediately go at them. Like, and it's so just like, guys, like there's other Star Wars out there. There's different types of Star Wars. It's like, there's all different types of genres that you can enjoy. Even the legend stuff. I tell people all the time, like people ask me, they'll put it in comments like, oh, what about the legend stuff? I'm like, I mean, it may not be like canon in Disney's eyes, but it's still Star Wars. If you like it, you like it. That's fine.
Right.
Like enjoy what you want to enjoy.
The Arthur's musical number is still Star Wars.
Absolutely.
No. Okay, I'll draw the line there. I will fight you on that one.
It's still Star Wars. I never said it was good Star Wars.
George Lucas doesn't even want that to be canon. So
someone tried to tell me, and I guess there could be a point to be made about this, but someone tried to tell me on one of my videos because they did like I did a video where I did like, it's the guy from Fortnite, and I had Palpatine because they did like the speech before episode 9.
Right.
And I had someone try to say like Fortnite is canon in Star Wars. And I'm like,
no.
I mean, is it? So you're telling me the guy with the teddy bear head and like no shirt is canon in Star Wars?
I worry about our future.
I do, because I'm just like, does that mean that Nissan is canon in Star Wars because they had the tie-in with Rogue One? Does that mean everybody in Star Wars is driving around in a Nissan Rogue or any of the other Star Wars tie-ins that have been out there throughout the years?
And I bought Cheez-Its with an Obi-Wan on the box years ago. Or Cheez-Its now.
Cheez-Its are canon.
Cheez-Its are canon. And if
It's
so, Cheez-Its were available for sponsorship.
There
So
were- There were Mountain Dew cans at one point that
right?
had all the
Obviously,
different
that's space
characters
fuel.
Some kids just don't understand how marketing works.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they did. They had like, I think it was either Mountain Dew or something. They had like a Darth Vader trying to beat up like a soda can machine, or it was something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, does that mean it's canon? I don't know. Probably not.
All right.
Oh God.
So you get invited to Skywalker Ranch, and George invites you to take one thing home. What are you gonna take?
The keys.
That was quick.
Good answer.
That was quick. I I was sitting here thinking, man, he's gonna think of this long and laboriously, and he's gonna struggle with, should I take, the training orb from New Hope, or should I take, a model of the Tauntaun from Empire Strikes Back, or one of the Space Care Bears from the Jedi? And he's like, no, I want the keys.
I want the keys to the mansion. Yeah, I want the keys. I mean, that way I can come back and get everything,
Well, he's not wrong.
or at least come and visit. No, I real answer, I guess. Honestly, I would probably take I don't know if they have it here. I don't know everything they have there, but if they do have it, I would probably take a model X-Wing that they used in the special effects, just because it's not just like a model of an X-Wing. It's a piece of groundbreaking special effects technology, that just it revolutionized special effects. So I would probably, as a film fan as well, I would probably want, something that was used as a model in making of some of the special effects.
Nice.
Because I just think it would just be so cool to have something like that. And then the second would be the keys.
Mark
There you
Hamill's
go.
answer was really good, though.
What was Mark Hamill's answer?
Mark Hamill said that if George ever invited him to take one thing from the ranch, he was taking George's wallet.
Oh, dang it,
Good
I should have
answer.
said that. Dang it.
And not that anybody asked me, but I would take Han Solo's blaster. So just, you know,
Ooh, that's a good one.
because I'm a big Harrison Ford Han Solo fan. So
That's a good one.
A couple years ago, we had a actual like a museum tour that came through of the Star Wars costumes and stuff. That was really neat to check out.
oh yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah. We got one of those tours too while my daughter was in the hospital. That was a different thing. So but it was still cool, and we still all nerded out, and we lost our minds when Darth Vader walked in the room because that was awesome.
Oh,
I still struggle with Darth Vader in a children's hospital, though.
It is a little off-putting, but once
That's
you
not
get
a good
past
idea,
that,
people.
I feel like it'd be worse if it was Anakin.
right?
Would
Well,
be.
yeah, because he's already
I feel like it'd be worse.
he already 66, the youngling. So if he's Vader, you're good. But yeah, it was a little awkward at first, but then I was like, Vader. So,
I feel like actually that reminds me when we were kids, my dad actually dressed up as Darth Maul for us, and my brother was super, super young, and it scared the pants up. My brother was crying so hard. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool! It's Darth Maul. I just like threw my brother to the side, like, move.
All right, guys. So for those of you who aren't aware, Matt here, or Matman, as he'll be known on TikTok and Instagram, by the way. If you have Instagram, you're going to want to go look him up under the username Matman_art, because Matt here is a phenomenal artist. And I don't say phenomenal lightly, because he's got pictures of DC characters, Marvel characters, Star Wars characters, and even some more things on that page. And being that I can't hardly draw a straight line, I'm very impressed with his abilities. So Matt, talk to us a little bit about your art, maybe some of your inspiration, and what's your favorite subject to draw?
Well, I've been drawing since I was a kid. I actually went to school for art. I went to school for illustration and visual development before I became a teacher. I actually ended up working for Hasbro for a brief period of time too.
Awesome.
But I just, a lot of people don't realize that, how, very office-like those jobs can be. So I kind of just ended up getting out, and, I just decided to become a teacher because I really did enjoy still doing art, but, I wanted to do a little bit more hands-on stuff. But I decided to, I do art on the side. In the summers, I do I open it up for commissions and stuff like that, so I can still do art. But I've always loved drawing, cartoons, comics. My style has evolved over the years, like you wouldn't believe. Like if you saw some of my younger stuff to some of the stuff like, I do now, like I've even through college, like I was trying to find my voice and trying to find my style. And it ended up being a mix of my own style mixed with Steven Silver. If you guys know, he designed a lot of the Kim Possible stuff. He worked on Danny Phantom.
Okay.
He did a lot of like those types of styles.
Okay.
I've sort of adapted it a little bit, but that's kind of like my favorite type of style to draw is, like cartoons and like Disney style like that.
Okay.
But the subject matter is definitely more like nerdy stuff if I can. Like whenever I doodle, like that's the stuff I draw. My most recent picture on there actually came from I think it was one of my students actually. It's a Waluigi as a duck. And it just kind of happened because I think he mentioned just like, like he made a quacking sound. I'm like, that sounds like Waluigi. And then I was just like, wah, wah. Oh, that's a drawing. And I did a doodle like right there, right before class started. Like as people were coming in, I just did a quick doodle. I'm like, look what I did. And then I brought it home and I was like, I have to draw this. And I just kind of like doodled out a little Waluigi duck. And sometimes that's some of my favorite stuff to draw is this stuff that just kind of pops in my head. Same thing with my videos, like stuff that just kind of literally randomly pops into my head that makes absolutely no sense. You just put on paper or you put in a video. And it's just so much fun doing different styles and different takes. I do some realistic stuff too. Sometimes I did like a I took a shot or a screen image from Iron Man, and I tried to, like, without tracing it, copy it by eye. And those can be a lot of fun too sometimes, because with more realistic stuff, the drawing is already there, and it's just sort of relaxing to just go through. You don't have to think too much about the creative side of it. You're just kind of going through and you're just painting and getting in the zone. And it takes a lot longer for sure, but sometimes those ones can be a little bit more relaxing.
So as an example of some of your art, I thought we'd just throw this up on screen right quick and show everyone what we're talking about. There you go. You guys see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure I hit the right buttons and the right things come up. But yeah, so you get a nice look here at some of the things that he's capable of. Yeah. So this is what you're seeing. There's his user tag, Matman_art. You guys are going to want to go take a look at that and take a look at what some of the stuff he's doing, because he's got some really cool artwork on there.
I also just want to point out, I had no idea that this was also being filmed, because I've been moving the phone around like a maniac.
That's all right.
That's okay.
So
You're all good.
I apologize to the people at home who are indeed watching this, because it's probably like, I'm sorry if I made anybody sick.
So we've obviously talked about your love of Star Wars, Marvel, and other what would be referred to as mainstream nerd franchises, which are all awesome. So are there other lesser known series or movies that you think that people need to know about? Like, I'm personally a big fan of like Eureka and Warehouse 13, which I don't think got enough credit because they were on the Sci-Fi Channel. Do you have anything that you would want to add into the nerddom?
Not off the top of my head, because I bet there is, but I, honest to God, for the life of me, for right now, cannot think any lesser known. Oh boy. I honestly don't know. I don't know of any like lesser known projects out there. I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer to this one.
That's okay.
That's
I
okay.
really, I probably, you know what? As soon as I get off of here, I'll probably like, oh my God, no, that was definitely something I should have said.
It's okay. We can fix it in post.
Oh, that's right. We can fix it in post. That's the best answer. I grew up with all the basic stuff. I grew up with like pretty much everything in the DC animated universe, pretty much, all the mainstream type of stuff. I watched a lot of YouTube when I was in high school and college. I watched a lot of like that stuff. But in terms of like really out there indie nerdy stuff, I never really got into a lot of that that I can think of. If anything, I would say there's some YouTubers that I found that are super, super funny and hilarious. There's the Cosmonaut Variety Hour that I absolutely love. He does some like reviews and stuff. He's super funny. And nobody's ever seen JonTron, he's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like shows, I honestly can't think of any. I'm the worst. I'm the worst guest on the planet. This is gonna be the worst show.
No, this is great.
I'm sorry.
Because even getting other YouTubers' names out is going to help them. And
Exactly.
if their fans somehow find us, it gets us bigger. It's all good. You got this.
Yay.
Connections. So all good, buddy.
Oh boy.
All right. So we have multiple franchises and things to choose from, but our Facebook page usually deals in a mashup between the funny and like how you were saying, like the Church of Star Wars, how the voice just kind of became a mashup between a couple things. So what two universes would you like to see come together?
Oh, this is an easy one because I've been thinking about this for a while. This might be a bit out there. It's getting into video games, but now that Disney owns Star Wars, I need a Kingdom Hearts level with Star Wars or Marvel in my life. I know they've technically already done Big Hero 6, but I really, really want, like, because they could easily do the Clone Wars animated style with the Kingdom Hearts style, and it would fit super well. And just being able to swing around like a lightsaber keyblade would just be phenomenal. I've been wanting that mashup for forever.
Yep.
But in terms of like shows, I've always really wanted, because I know they've done some comics with it, but I think we'll never get it. We will never, ever, ever get it. But I would really love like a DC Marvel clash. I think that would be so much fun to see. It'll never happen.
Right.
They'll never do it, but I just think that'd be such a cool, or even if they came together for like, I think what I'd really love to see is maybe like a mashup. Maybe there's like it's like a commercial for like a charity or something like that, and you have like Batman and Iron Man in the same commercial for like a charity,
right?
And then you just have them like look at each other and just be like, all right, like, you know, I don't know. I just think that'd be like just something like that would be even cool, just something small, but
how can I?
It's a fool's wish.
Exactly. I can see like Batman, you know, Bruce Wayne standing here, Tony Stark, Iron Man standing here, and both of them being like, wealth is our superpower. You know,
they're just like at an auction, like there's like an auction for charity, and you're just seeing them both like put their things up at the same. You don't even have to say that it's Batman and Iron Man. You could literally just get Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Affleck, and you could just have them go. Nobody would have to know. You wouldn't even have to acknowledge it, but we'd know.
Oh yeah, everybody would know instantly. So
you should just draw it.
Oh, I should. I have so many ideas that I want to do, especially after doing TikTok. Like, there's a lot of people that like they'll say like a joke in the comment section or something will stick, and I'm just like, oh, that's a good idea for a shirt. I should put that on a shirt.
Totally doing that.
There's the one I'm working on a couple right. Like, I haven't drawn them out yet, but like obviously there's our commandment. I want to do something with like "Thou shalt not gatekeep." I think that'd be pretty funny to put on a shirt. And then, like I mentioned before, I wanted to do the Space Care Bears. I don't know how I'd get around it. I really don't want to go to fight. I'll get in a fight with Disney, but I want to do this Space Care Bears, and then the Holy Seismic Charge. I was going to combine the Holy Hand Grenade and the Seismic Charge.
Nice.
On a shirt.
I like it. All right. So, Matt, we have reached a point in our show where we like to have a little quiz show with our guest. So we have 5 questions for you in this quiz, and it's all about Star Wars.
Oh, God.
Okay. Now, in these 5 questions, if you get 3 right, we're going to send you, I gave to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans coffee mug. Okay. Which also has our logo, the Funny Science Fiction Podcast, on the backside. Okay. If you get 4 questions right, we're going to send you a copy of Custodians of the Cosmos, which is the book by our group founder, Drayton Allen. It's all about a young man who wanted to join Starfleet but couldn't hack it. And so he joined as a custodian so that he could boldly clean up after those who boldly just went. So, and however now, at the opposite end of all these really cool gifts, prizes, and loot, should you get less than 3, we have to make a meme out of you. We call it a fun sequence.
I love it.
Do you accept these terms, sir?
I absolutely accept these terms begrudgingly, but I do.
All right, excellent. All right, so I just want to let you know, first and foremost, that there's 5 questions, and they are all multiple choice. Okay.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, you got a little bit of help on your side.
Which stormtrooper wasn't able to complete his mission in Star Wars The Force Awakens? Was it FN 8178, FN 2177, or FN 2187?
FN 2187.
Good job.
Good.
Woo, got one.
Woo!
All right. Question number 2. Where did the Clone Wars begin? Tatooine, Geonosis, or Coruscant?
Geonosis.
Yay. For 2.
I'm a teacher. I'm supposed to be giving the tests. This is too much.
Too much pressure.
The quiz anxiety is setting in. I see.
This is why I
Now
don't
you know
take
what your
quizzes.
students feel like.
Oh God.
Who freed Leia from her chains at Jabba's temple? Was it R2D2, Chewbacca, or C3PO?
R2D2.
That's 3.
3 for 3.
Ooh, yes.
You got yourself a mug.
Woo.
All right. What species is Yoda? Yongrel, Trilith, or unknown?
Unknown.
Unknown.
4 for 4. You get the book and the mug.
Woo.
And for funsies, not the fun sequence, but for funsies.
You can still make a meme if you want. I think that'd be hilarious.
All right.
Well, on that note.
What did Darth Vader say to Luke Skywalker about the name Anakin Skywalker? He hadn't been called that in a very long time. He had never liked that name. It no longer held any meaning for him.
It no longer held any meaning for him.
Good job.
Look
5
at you,
for
super
5.
nerd.
Oh, you were all worried.
I
So-
was, just because I feel like there's so many people out there that know so much more than me. But then you get to this and it's just like, oh, I guess I really am I guess I'm a bigger nerd than I thought I was.
Well, you made it look really easy and you flew through it pretty quickly. But yeah, so 5 for 5. And while he was reading off that last question, I may have snapped a few pictures of you on the screen, and we may in fact turn that into a meme. So
Do it, please.
So, Matt, where are the best places for people to go to find out more about you and all of your other works?
So I am primarily on TikTok. It's _Matman_show. And then it has a direct link to my Instagram on there. It's going to be Matman_art. Those are the really only. Oh, I do also have a Twitter. Not a lot of people actually know about the Twitter. I just made it. I can't remember. What?
I know about the Twitter.
I know.
That's because your research goes into the lines of stalking.
I honestly, I
Pretty
can't
bow.
remember because
Pretty bow. Pretty bow.
it's flattering. Don't worry.
Well, that's good.
I honestly can't remember because I think it gave me a weird name. I put the Matman Show in, but I think it might have been taken, so it gave me an automatic name. But if you search the Matman Show, it should come up. I can't for the life of me remember what the exact name. I think it is just Matman_show. I think that's what they gave me for like the actual name. But when you like the the tag that you can create on there,
Mhm.
like the custom tag, it says the Matman Show on Twitter. But there's
It's
also
actually
a
just
link.
at Matman Show.
It is just at Matman Show. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought it was. So that's on Twitter, but you can find all those links through TikTok as well as along with the merch store.
Very good. All right, guys, I want to remind you that subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to help our show. And it helps ensure that we get more amazing guests like Matt here to provide funny moments for you to be able to listen to. So please subscribe to our show. It's going to help out well more than we can ever really explain to you. And we want to encourage you as well to go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to Twitter, check out Matt's stuff there, subscribe to him as well. I guarantee that if you go to his TikTok account, if you have 60 seconds to spare and you just need a quick laugh, you will find it at the Matman Show. So please go there, go check out his stuff and subscribe as well. Also want to remind you that if you're not happy with the show's content today, all you have to do is let us know. We need you to send a written letter in triplicate to our complaint department, which will be headed up, of course, by Darth Vader. And the offending party will be force choked, and the other hosts will be promoted to cover the cost of the extra paperwork.
Well, thanks for being on the show, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. I hope I get invited back.
You will.
Definitely. This was fun.
You will. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you very much for having me.
So long, everybody.
Ciao.
Take care, guys.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt Crewman number 501. And just imagine the comfort you'll give the Red Shirt Crewman number 501. He'll know that when he puts on the red shirt when Order 66 is given, 13 minutes into episode 8, that he didn't leave his family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has his back and his lightsaber.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Copyright 2020 by Drayton Allen. Original music by Jordan Michaels. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned in this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation of or by Funny Science Fiction or its sponsors. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at DraytonAllen@DraytonAllen.com.